Hello, friends. Welcome to today's episode of this podcast series where I share one favorite poem every day. The poem I'm going to read today is by Mary Cornish. It's a very interesting poem, very fascinating poem. This poem is called Numbers by Mary Cornish. I'll read the poem first. Numbers. I like the generosity of numbers. The way, for example, they are willing to count anything or anyone. 2 pickles, one door to the room, 8 dancers dressed as swans. I like the domesticity of addition. Add 2 cups of milk and stir. The sense of plenty. 6 plums on the ground, 3 more falling from the tree. And multiplication school of fish times fish, whose silver bodies breed beneath the shadow of a boat. Even subtraction is never loss, just addition somewhere else. 5 sparrows take away 2, the 2 in someone else's garden now. There's an amplitude to long division as it opens Chinese takeout box by paper box. Inside every folded cookie, a new fortune. And I never fail to be surprised by the gift of an odd remainder. Footloose at the end. 47 divided by 11 equals 4 with 3 remaining. 3 boys beyond their mother's call. 2 Italians off to the sea. 1 sock that isn't anywhere you look. So, alongside poetry, mathematics is one of my favorite subjects. And I myself have attempted writing poems where I have tried to integrate maths and poetry. So when I came across this poem, I was very fascinated. In fact, there are some very good examples where maths has been integrated into poetry. This poem is very much like advertising for mathematics, basic mathematics, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And it is the expression, the way this poem has been devised. The example that she has taken, maybe Chinese takeout paper boxes, you divide Chinese food, or the way the remainder, there's always something that remains. 3 boys beyond their mother's call, a sock that is nowhere you find, or the sense of plenty when that addition comes with, or the sense of subtraction never being lost. Even we are taught that in school, that subtraction is the opposite of addition. It is a negative addition rather than looking at it as loss. And multiplication, these are probably the most profound lines. And multiplication's school of fish times fish, whose silver bodies breed beneath the shadow of a boat. This is because fishes breed that way. There are 2 fishes, and then suddenly they lay like a insane number of eggs, and then they just multiply. So the examples that Mary Cornish has taken are really fascinating, and that brings the entire poem together. So the content is beautiful, and the form is, of course, that makes this poem even so much better. There is one more poem which I had come across in Terry Eagleton's How to Read a Poem. I don't have the book. A friend has taken that book and never returned, and now I can't even reach out to him given the corona situation. But I have the PDF of the book where I have taken the poems print out from. So this is again a poem which uses maths as the central idea, but uses it for a very different effect. Just listen to the poem and then we'll talk. This poem is called Common Sense by Alan Brownjohn. There are 4 parts, and all the 4 parts are very different in their own ways, like 4 questions to be precise. Alan Brownjohn's poem, Common Sense. An agricultural laborer who has a wife and 4 children receives 20 shillings a week. 1/4 buys food, and the members of the family have 3 meals a day. How much is that per person per meal? A gardener paid 24 shillings a week is fined 1/3 if he comes to work late. At the end of 26 weeks, he receives £30.5.3. How often was he late? The table printed below gives the number of paupers in the United Kingdom and the total cost of poor relief. Find the average number of paupers per 10,000 people. Out of an army of 28,000 men, 15% were killed, 25% were wounded. Calculate how many men were there left to fight. So here maths again, we come back to the idea of a good poem not built on a single emotion, or where the meta narrative is bigger than the poem itself. Each of these addresses one large social issue. It talks about poverty, it talks about hunger, it talks about war, the devastation it comes with, and it uses just the simple idea of mathematical questions, something that we are so familiar with in our school exams, to come at. So this is again a brilliant poem. And I'd come across this poem long ago when I had read How to Read a Poem by Terry Eagleton. So yeah, this is another poem which I thought I should share with you, where again the mathematics have been used as a tool for poetry to write a good, interesting poem. There is one more poem that comes to mind, and this is by an Indian American poet, Vijay Seshadri. I'm sure you have heard his name. This is Vijay Seshadri, is a Pulitzer Prize winning poet, and this is the book for which he received the Pulitzer Prize, 3 sections, and this is the first poem of the book, which I find very fascinating. This is again a poem which is not exactly a poem built out of mathematics, but it uses a mathematical idea to express something which is unexpressible. So Agye, a famous Hindi poet, famously said, "Kavita avyakt ki abhivyakti hai." Some poem is the expression of something that cannot be expressed, the inexpressible. It is the expression of that. So I felt this poem does that to perfection. Imaginary Number by Vijay Seshadri. The mountain that remains when the universe is destroyed is not big and is not small. Big and small are comparative categories. And to what could the mountain that remains when the universe is destroyed be compared? Consciousness observes and is appeased. The soul scrambles across the screes. The soul, like the square root of -1, is an impossibility that has its uses. And Vijay Seshadri, a lot of his poems have mathematics tuned to it. I really like how he uses very contemporary, very peppy lines in his poems. So maybe at a different time and place, in a different episode, not place, because all of us are stuck in our homes, but at a different time, maybe a few days down the line, I'll read something by Vijay Seshadri and we'll discuss his poetics at length. So yeah, this is another poem where I felt maths has been used to perfection. Some mathematical concept has been used to perfection. So yeah, thank you so much for being a part of today's discussion. It was fun to read these poems. I hope you also had a good time listening to these interesting pieces. And we'll meet again tomorrow and we'll read more poems and discuss more poetry. Thank you so much. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.